All right, so in this area, we are going to build like a 70 by 100 earthen pond. It's not gonna be perfectly oval. We're gonna scallop it out. There's gonna be room for a small dock, a little building over here on the far side. Now, one of the things people don't understand is they automatically think that their ground will hold water. Sometimes you have a high water table, you just don't know. So one of the most important things is to do a test hole and see what the soil makeup is. And yes, we charge to do test holes because it does take time and you got to bring the equipment and everything else, but it's money well spent, because I can't tell you how many times we get phone calls and people say, oh, I dug my hole already, but this thing will not hold water. Well, it's most important to check the soil makeup and see exactly what you're dealing with. Now, say your ground is porous, you could do some bentonite and you could do some clay, and there's a whole sandwich method, and we'll go over that later on. But this is where we're going to start with this. We're going to do a test hole right now. So see what's interesting about this soil, you see that blue in there? That is a clay compound. It does clump up pretty good. There's different strains of soil in this, but that right there, I'm hoping that you can see that, but that little bit of, see that clay? What we're going to do is smear that on the sides. So it looks like there's enough of a clay compound in this pond, or in this area, to build this pond. You can already see there's water coming in. It could be surface water, but when you slick those sides, you see how that all gets. I'm just kind of curious if there's a high water table here. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave this hole here and let it perk up, and we'll see exactly how much water we actually have in this hole in a day or two. All right, so today we are back down in Selkirk, New York. Last year we built a koi pond here, and they decided that they wanted a earthen pond. So we're gonna build something around 70 by 100, maybe a little bit bigger. It's gonna be scalloped. When we showed up here, of course, because of the spring thaw, all the snow, this whole area was just saturated. So Bob is over here right now. He's got the pump running, and yesterday he said he could have a canoe down here to get into the center part, but right now he's got it all pumped down. We know we're gonna run into water because there's a high water table, so it's gonna be a lot of fun, but it is gonna get muddy quick. Well, day 3 is not disappointing at all. Of course, it rained all night, and we have got a colossal mess here. Seems like, I don't know, it's got to get worse before it gets better, and we're just going to keep motoring through. But you got to check out this mud. So this is the path we have to take that loader all the way down and back to get that soil there. There's no way you're getting a truck back in there. That's why we used a loader. Got the loader down there. Nick is with us today, and he's actually using a small excavator to load the bucket of the loader. But check out this slop. It's beautiful. Nice. But we're making progress with the pond. It's getting bigger every minute, of course, because we're digging with this beauty. But check that machine out. I think it's going to need a little pressure washing. But the pond's coming along great. I mean, we got all this down through here is all there. We already got water coming in, which is always a plus, right? We want to have as much water in as possible, and it's definitely coming out. Right there, we hit this old clay drain. It's like an old farm drain, and back when they used to make them out of clay, and they were usually in like 12 or 16-inch sections, maybe sometimes 2 feet, and they put them together and just put a little stone around there. And that is a bonus for an earthen pond, because that water is constantly flowing in there as well as seeping right in as we're digging. So yeah, we have a mountain of soil to move. So one of our new employees, he's only been here a week, is Wes. And Wes comes from a construction background. We've been dealing with this mud, muck, and mire, and we couldn't even move with the equipment we had. So I spent a whole day looking for a track truck. It's actually a dump truck with tracks. And the funny part is Wes knows just how to run them, because he's been in the construction industry and he's got it figured out, because we are motoring. I bet you they must have moved probably 400 yards this morning in no time at all. But check out this dump truck. This thing's a beast. But when you're digging an earthen pond and you run into mud, we can't stop. We have a schedule to keep, and this is solving all our issues right now, moving that soil. So today we're getting the piers in for the deck, dock, whatever you might want to call it, because right up in here there's going to be this small Dutch building that's going to be kind of overlooking the pond. So right now, before we fill up any further with water, we're going to get these guys in so we can cantilever that deck right back up and over the water when it eventually fills all the way up into this area. Alright, so this morning we are here, we're getting ready to build this pier or deck, whatever you might want to call it. It's going to be attached to a small building that the owner is going to purchase, so we got to get this in first. We got our piers in, they're good and dry, nice and solid. We went down really deep into the bank, into the shelf of the pond, so that way it's going to make it stable. We're going to eventually flank some rocks around it too to just give it some character. So tomorrow we're going to start hauling boulders in here too to start making that fish habitat. We got a log over here that I will show you that we're going to actually sink in the bottom, because that way the fish kind of has some shade. We're going to do some gradations of gravel so they got some spawning areas. But first and foremost, we have to get this deck done. All the framing's done. We're at the stage where we're starting to put the decking on here, getting this all screwed down. So then after we're done with this, I mean, look at a cantilever on this. They'll be able to jump right in that pond. In the back over here is going to be a building that they purchased that's prefab. Be able to set right in there, and it'll set the stage for this whole big pond. Check that out. All right, we have this big log, or tree I should say, because it's pretty long, that we cut down, and we are going to put in the bottom of this pond for fish habitat. We got a ton of boulders here. It's about 35 ton actually, and we got some really good sized guys. Right now I'm getting ready to put some in the bottom over there by the dock, pier, whatever you might want to call it. And we are walking this whole shelf of the pond down below. I had to make a ramp in there, which we'll fix on the way out, but it's the only way to get in there because it's been so wet that we really don't want to track over what we already fixed. So this is what we got to do. All right, so here we are, we're down here. We just got a ton of rain yesterday, and I wanted to come down and see how far up our earthen pond project came. And it's almost all the way up to that shelf that's down in there, which is pretty cool because now we only got like probably 2.5 more feet of water. But this is what it looks like after we're done. It was a total mess. I don't know if you remember that or not, but now we got everything raked out. We got straw blanket down, and this whole thing is just now waiting for water to fill this up, which I think if we get 1 or 2 more rainstorms, it's going to fill. And we'll have to keep track of this and come back and show you once all the grass is grown in and what this looks like.